Love. Why am I saying love? Just because, yeah, okay, there's why. There was a coldness to it. There was a rejection of it. Um, I had previously, oh, whoa, okay. I'm going to go with what I see first. And so basically, I was pretending to be in love, seeking something that would stabilize me. Um, this woman here, and it is a woman, it was conditional, it was transactional. I felt like a child, essentially. There are suggestions of controlling aspects to it, perhaps using sex as a currency, as a form of payment. Um, we grew up together. We grew up together, and she was aware of my insecurities. Not to say that she's fully responsible for the breakdown. I don't know why I've got a breakdown in head, but that's what I'm seeing. Um, though she wasn't responsible for the breakdown, I can see now, looking back in hindsight, retrospectively, introspectively, that we were immature. We were completely immature, and though she would have been deemed the more mature of the two of us, we certainly both had a lot of growth to work through, and I finally surrendered to that being the case. As to her reaction to it, um, there's a lot of sentiment around the history of the relationship rather than the progress, growth, and maturity that should bloom from the lesson of that relationship. So basically, she's finding it hard to let go. Um, why am I saying so much? It's almost like I'm sitting in the energy of the person who is trying to explain their departure from the relationship, but still feels a little under the thumb, still feels that sense of control. And so the speech patterns change, the confidence is lessened, the will is weakened because this person's had such a hold over them for such a long time because they got together very young. And so they didn't really take the time to understand themselves or even to understand their own identities. They became a joined and combined identity before even realizing how all consuming that can be and how suffocating that can be when with the wrong person. It's no longer a union, it's a confinement, it's a trapping, and longevity does not equal success, is what he's come to discover. Although he always knew that, but he just didn't feel brave enough a point, at a point, to do anything about it. What prompted that? What propelled that? What motivated the change that he made, despite feeling very afraid of making said change? Because it wasn't the situation itself; it was the person involved, because he's so used to reacting to her in a certain way, the hidden patterns that he was fully aware of, but because he hadn't shared, hadn't really had it, didn't really feel supported in it, so hadn't shared it with anyone. And so, even though it wasn't normal for him, he also didn't have anyone to be a soundboard as to this dysfunction, essentially. So that it wasn't a challenge for him, it was a complete obstacle. It consumed him. And when I say it, it's actually her consumed him. There's a lot of attachment to. Whoa, whoa. Okay, okay. So there's okay. These things are falling out in different ways. Okay, so there's a lot of attachment to. Oh, okay. The marriage is something that is being used as a weapon. It's been weaponized, and the assets that were acquired or attained throughout said marriage are something that's being used to anchor, i.e., keep him there. Perhaps the threat of what's the word? Settlements, what's rightfully due, etc. Rightfully due is something that she is. reminding him of. Now, as to whether he takes action towards his heart, regardless of what the potential monetary loss is, I was going to say time will tell, but I'm pretty sure the cards will. This combination here is showing that he's wanting to pursue his heart. He has looked at what love looks like for him, and he's fully aware that love is not where he sits with this person here. And she's behind him as well. Interestingly, it's the King of Cups, who I sometimes see as a somewhat deluded character, and in such close proximity to the Hanged Man, it seems someone shares that opinion. But in this instance, I'm feeling as though it's her who has that opinion of something that is very real to him, something that is very genuine, honest, and authentic for him. And it's stopping him in some way from taking the full leap, may I say. Okay. Interesting. It's bringing up this situation, and it looks like divorce, essentially. And okay, I'll explain my reasons for that. So we have the Four of Swords, which is a very much an introspective card, yes, when it's considered traditionally, but it's also a full stop card. It's one of those where it's like, okay, this is the idea of dogma being detached from the dogma being symbolized by the stained glass window, which we often find in cathedrals, etc., which is what the Three of Pentacles is often famed for, is renowned for. But it's more than a cathedral. This is another card that I've spoken of several times, that there are layers to the experiences that can be found in this card. In the there can be a lot of fakeness, but it's also, oh, okay, that I can't deny that one. Also, it falls in the idea of institutions and courthouses, and the Queen of Swords is showing a severance, and the King of Pentacles is showing assets and resources and materials. So it's very much around perhaps the division of these things, and I'm saying that in a really generous way. It feels like there's a battle going on, if not has happened already. The reason I say if not has happened already is because of the King of Cups. He's a projective card, and so this card is very much about looking into the distant past or seemingly distant future, and hoping and dreaming and wishing for. And the reason I believe it's to be something, it's something that has passed, is because the aspiration is pointing to the future with the Page of Pentacles as well. The judgment around this court hearing, this division of assets and what's the word, matrimony, there was choice involved, and the accusation from this person has been, you had an affair, I know you're having an affair. And when I say this person, I mean the lady in the Queen of Cups. And he actually isn't. He's actually not. He genuinely has discovered so much of himself that he can't be untrue to himself. He has to pursue a path of honesty and integrity and authority over his own life. And so, even though it may appear, because this guy he's a good looking guy, he's in an occupation that attracts many offers and temptations towards him, but he's not tempted. He simply wants to just literally just chill on his own, just be on his own. But part of that introspection that's taken place means he's connected at some high levels with another person. No, I'm not going to be diplomatic. It's another woman. There certainly is another woman, but she's not romantically linked to him in any way, shape, or form, despite him wanting her to be, absolutely. But he's given himself the the what he deserves in the time, the time to know himself before he commits to another, because this introspection has given him such an expanded view of life, not just his own life, but life in general, and what actual living is, that he knows that once he's committed to whoever the next is, the next must be of a certain standard, because that's it. There are no next after that. That's it. It's just her after that. Thing is, this lady here is still looking at what they had in a somewhat rose tinted glasses way. And I say that because of my personal experience with the King of Wands. There is it's not even sentiment. It is delusion to some degree, or selective memory, in that you think it was happy families, but it really, really wasn't. Um, this was a drag, essentially. Basically, my mood changed, and not in a positive direction, when you were around. And that's not to say that you're a bad person. It just means that we clearly were not in the harmony that you seem to have told yourself that we were. If we were, we would still be together, but we're not. There is a reason for that. It's time to break the chains. It's time to let go. Also, with the judgment card, family have gotten involved, in that they are all kind of speculating as to what should or should not be done, almost as though there's some sort of intervention that they feel they must take, because the institution of family is something that they hold very, very dear, but they also are dysfunctional. So he's like, well, I get your concerns, but like, let's not pretend here. None of you are happy. So how can I possibly even consider taking advice, if I were going to, from any one of you? I choose not to, by the way. So I'm going to go back to just chilling out. And when you guys have figured out what your problems are, then perhaps you won't be focusing on mine. Oh, that made it. Is there anything else coming here? Doesn't feel like there's anything want to come. I'll try for one more and then we're done, I think. Doesn't really resolve the situation though. But having said that, the situation itself, the resolution, the solution is always in the question, even though there's not been a question. But there's the question, answer, past and future is in the same layout. So I feel that there's something that could finalize this, or at least start the new thread as to what it is that he is doing, what plans he has in mind, and how to execute said plans. And the moment I said execute said plans, the eyes went to the Queen of Swords with the Judgment card. So I'm just going to check how many cards I've got out now. 3, 6, 8, so that's 16, 20. Oh, 20 and the 20. Oh, and the 20th card is Judgment, and Knight of Swords came out. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. Interestingly, this is the only reversed card. The only reversed card. And this is what indicates the change. This is the 21st card, and he's coming for you, you being the 21st letter of the alphabet. I shan't ask who that you is, because the eyes were instantly drawn to the Empress, which is saying to me that that love that he has discovered, not just for himself, but is embodied by this woman who sits in the High Priestess, back to back with the High Priestess, um, and the Empress, sorry, is who he's coming for. He's learned self-love. He's learned self-love, and he's learned the face that goes with that. That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I'm hearing the song, I'm walking away, Craig David. It seems that that's exactly what he's doing, regardless of the financial penalty, which is exactly how that's being held over his head, um, by those who perhaps are familiar with the relationship, i.e., everyone has been on the same timeline, and therefore that many years that this couple were together, everybody has an opinion as to why they should stay together, because it unsettles everyone else around. It's a ripple effect. And so his departure essentially highlights problems in other people's relationships, because if they were the stabilizing force amidst what was already dysfunction, despite no one even realizing that that was the case, or if not, then not acknowledging that they had issues, then if they can't do it, then how can we? And that creates, like I said, a ripple effect that can also inspire some rather radical changes. So he's getting away from it anyway. He's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't, basically, because it's already been shown that their relationship is over through this court situation. But the fact that he's not coming back, and he's going to take on someone else, completely like unsettles the entire group, because do they embrace this somebody else? Because even though they won't acknowledge their own woes, their own issues, they certainly are, they can't ignore how much happier he appears without this person. And knowing that there may be someone responsible for that, but not having a tangible representation of that, i.e., well, how can he possibly be in love with someone he doesn't know? How can he possibly be in love with someone he hasn't met? Because they've not gone through the stages of the ascension that it takes to stop that dogmatic approach, perhaps, to what marriage and relationship is. He's heading towards communion, whereas they're still stuck on marriage. And spiritual marriage is exactly that, communion. Oh, the cross of the judgment card. And he chose him to get her, if that makes sense. Not He didn't choose him as a way to persuade her, but in choosing him, he got her, essentially. And that is what he dreamed of. That's his dream woman. Notice how I did dream woman there, and that adds up to 27, and that's an ascended octave. But yeah. The octave being the alphabet. And I know it's going to be like, yeah, but there's only 8 notes. And it's like, no, 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 you don't understand what I'm saying here. Okay, I think we're good. And I'm seeing in the King of Pentacles, the letters in the King of Pentacles change to actually true, and then mindfulness. So it seems that there was a spell, a period of meditation. There was something that he applied to his life in terms of mindfulness and wellness that basically changed his life. It altered his, I just heard altered his appearance. That's something that this woman's like calling out on. Basically, that's where the idea of an affair came from, because it was like, you've changed how you look. Like, what are you doing? Like, who are you doing it for is really what the question was. But it was just like, she saw, like, okay, here's an example. He would be very clean shaven, and he suddenly, like, grew a beard, and his clothing changed a tiny bit, but to more casual clothing. This was as a result of the mindfulness, because it was like, I like being comfortable. I don't want to be dressed in all this designer gear, or things that I feel restricted in. I quite like just chilling out, like. But she took it as, you're doing this for someone else. And he's like, yeah, that someone else is myself, by the way, just saying. So basically, there's a lot of bitterness from this person. And his biggest concern at the moment is the introduction of this woman who he's coming for. He's coming for her. Regardless of what any of these people think or feel, he knows. He knows her. He knows who he is. Who he is? Yes, he knows who he is. He knows who she is as well. And he knows what he wants with her. And so because they think that it's somewhat nonsensical and almost fantasy, they don't realize that it's an actual reality. He's not like he's not making her up. She actually exists. She's real. She may not know that she is the recipient of his oh God, I'm hearing from her again, lust, anger. It's like she wants it to be known that he was this way with her, and therefore this is how he is and shall always be. But I'm getting whispers from this woman here. She's like, it's okay, I know him. I know him, because they do very similar things. Even though he came a bit later to the mindfulness game, she's been doing it for some time, and that's how they've connected. And she's saying, yes, I am absolutely real. Yes, I do connect to him. And yes, he can absolutely come get me. Absolutely. Okay, I think we're done. We're not really wanting to. Now I'm hearing Stuck on You by Lionel Richie. Stuck on you. Got this feeling down deep in my soul that I'm on my way bit. Okay, that's beautiful. Oh, there we go. Okay, I think we're good now. Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly what I said. Then, so he's basically trying to protect and save her. this high priestess here, the woman that he loves, essentially, he's trying to save her from the daggers, the the accusations, the anger, and the gossip that is likely to follow him when he does approach her. But he is a chivalrous knight. I'm pretty sure she's okay. She can deal with it. She's like, dude, I deal with this on a daily basis across every plane and on every level, in and out, male and female. We're good. I've got this.